Hello everyone, I'm Silverraptor and welcome back to another Wargame Red Dragon deck creation video today. And we're going to start off with a little bit of change in the ritual. So normally, as you guys have watched these type of videos in the past, I build the deck in front of you, but this one I actually have already the deck built. And the reason for that is I had actually tried to record this video before, and I screwed up. And even though I finished the video and the deck and everything, the video didn't record properly. So I'm going to scrap that whole thing, and I didn't want to have to recreate the deck because it took a lot of thought to create this deck. So I'm just going to show you what I put in there, and then we'll go into the game, and then hopefully I don't screw up on the next deck creation process video. So, uh, this day we're doing a deck that was somewhat requested by the comments. The guy asked for a Canadian Airborne deck. I looked into that. I didn't like that it was I mean like very barely able to put in the points for the activation points to max. And I don't really like having decks that don't have full activation points, and it seemed really that I was just throwing stuff in there just to get to the max activation points. So I decided to take the liberty to change the request a bit, and I decided, how about a Commonwealth Airborne deck? Right here. It has Canada in it, but also has Great Britain and Anzac, so it has the benefit of both those nations as well. So I created it, called the Commonwealth Airborne Joint Task Force. Unfortunately, the force wasn't able to be included at the end because the name was too long, but hey, we'll go into this right now. So this is the deck right here. And first off, I did get a fob. I made it a Canadian fob because since it was originally a Canada Airborne deck, I decided, hey, give them the responsibility of resupplying everything. And I actually did the logistics tab last when I was deciding, but ultimately what I decided on, we have the command squad from Canada, and the reason why I chose them was I already picked out the Lynx AH7s, which have the rocket pods for other users, and the equivalent, basically to the CH-135, we want to keep the points down, is 20 points, is the Lynx AH1, which is 5 points more, and it only has a regular machine gun, whereas the CH-135 does have a minigun. And we can't use the CH-118 because it only has 4 strengths. And so that means it will be shot down immediately by 1 missile. And I don't like that. I like the enemy having to at least reload and fire another missile to take out my helicopter if it's going to go down. Now, the reason why I have the command squad in a helicopter is so that they're very mobile. Being an airborne deck, you can get your troops around the map quickly and basically capture sectors deep into enemy territory if you take the enemy good by surprise. I do have a ground base. I have the ILTISCP, and the reason why I have that is I really don't like the standard 100 point truck. I don't know why. I just don't. It's kind of slow off-road. I think that's my main issue with it, whereas the ILTISCP is 110 kilometers off-road, so it's very fast. So you can, if you see artillery comfort, you can get out of the way quickly, and it's just faster than the other rover CPs that the other two nations have. So that's why I decided with the ILTIS CP. If you don't want the ILTIS CP, getting the standard kind of Jeep is fine as well if you want to substitute that out. Now for supply, we have different Chinooks. We've got the Anzac Chinook and the Canadian cargo. Britain also has their own Chinook, but that has less supply. And I decided to get the Anzac because we don't really have any Anzac so far in this tab of logistics. And I also got some Stalwarts, which are the best land-based supply. And interesting enough, if you actually compare them to the Unimog is 5 points less, but doesn't have as much supply, so I skipped that. And for the Canadian cargo truck, it is actually has the same supply as a cargo truck. It's the same points. It's got 10 strengths, which means it can survive stuff a lot easier, and it's amphibious. So the Stalwart is king. in land-based supply in a Commonwealth Airborne deck. So that's the logistics tab. We're going to go into the infantry tab. This took a little bit of figuring out, but ultimately, first I got 2 SAS squads, and I've got them in the Lynx AH-7. Reason why the Lynx AH-7, those rocket pods, basically the only infantry type rocket pods that Blue 4 have. I'm sure there's another that I'm forgetting, but those rocket pods are definitely very good to bring in. The SAS are of course a very good squad. They've got really good anti-tank capabilities, very good anti-air capabilities, at least in accuracy, a little lacking on range a bit, and they are pretty decent against infantry with the M16. Now, they're do have a weakness a bit against infantry, because the infantry that they're going to be going up against are likely to have a light machine gun. And with a light machine gun, that's double the firepower, does kind of rip apart SAS a little bit. But since they're elite trained, they'll be able to put up a little bit of a fight if they are engaging with other infantry. I've gotten 6 of those, or 12 of those in those 2 cards. Next up, I've got Canadian Airborne. And the reason why I've got Canadian Airborne 90s, 2 cards of these, I also want to compare to the Paratrooper 90s, is that each of these are different, serve different roles. The Canadian Airborne are, they're the same price as the Paratrooper 90, and the reason why I got the Canadian Airborne is I'm actually rethinking this now. Okay, originally when I got the Canadian Airborne, they were going to be the static infantry, just hold the line, and they would prevent the enemy from pushing forward, whereas the Paratrooper 90s, they would be the assault patrol. They'd be able to, with the extra stabilizer accuracy, be able to move in and neutralize any enemy force. But now that I'm looking at this, Paratrooper 90s are just better in every regard. They've got a better Law 80, not just in AP power, but 20 rounds per minute. So those things are going to rip apart any vehicle they come against. And their main gun has the same rounds rate of fire, same regular accuracy, and a better stabilizer. So Paratrooper 90s are just flat out better. So it's actually a good thing I'm going through this again. Okay, so we'll need to figure that out. I've determined that the SASR are not worth their price. So we're not going to replace them with that. We could get napalm infantry. That's an option. Raz, no. I don't like the Milans, just because the lack of accuracy is kind of disappointing on me. So we're not going to get any Milan 2s or Milan 1s. And we're definitely not going to get regular Milan. Wait a minute. Milan 1 and oh yeah, of course, regular Milan and the Milan 1 are the same damn thing, because 1 and 1. Okay, I have some Highlanders over here. They are going to serve with our Eric's missile, and I also have some Eric's on top of that, fire support and extra AP power, so we've got a lot of power there. You know what, let's take a look. Let's compare these paratroopers to the Gurkhas and the Gurkhas 90. Specifically the Gurkhas 90, they've got the same, they're 5 points more, they've got the Law 80, and they've got the same accuracy mini-me, and the Sterling has higher fire rate, so they're definitely more assault. And the regular Gurkhas, wait a minute, okay. Gurkhas 90s, the regular Gurkhas have less accuracy, but farther range, less rounds per minute with the light machine gun, worse gun, worse anti-tank gun, same main weapon. If they made it 5 points less, I would have taken the Gurkhas over the Gurkhas 90s, but I think we're going to get the Gurkhas 90s. Oh, we could get just more regular Gurkhas. I think this will do. So we're actually going to get rid of Canadian Airborne. Sorry guys, you've been deposed. Get some paratroopers, and then we'll get some Gurkha 90s for an assault group. And we are going to put the Highlander 90s here, the Eric's over here, and the RBS here. Now, you're probably wondering why I have the Gurkhas to begin with. Well, because they're 15-man squads, and 15-man squads definitely are going to be very worthwhile when they are pushing into, when they're assaulting, especially with a 30% stabilizer. Definitely worthwhile to have these guys charge forward. And I like how these are 15-man squads. They're going to get nice and tight and really comfortable with each other in this helicopter. As you can see, they're not all going to fit into that helicopter under normal conditions. So I just find that kind of humorous. All right. Like I said, I've got the Eric's missiles with 25 AP power. The Highland 90s have their own Eric's missiles, but they don't have the HE, whereas the Eric's can help support with those Eric's missiles. I got RBS 70s so that we don't rely on our SAS, but also because this deck is a little weak for surface-to-air anti-air. The RBS 70s I picked out of everything else because they have a decent accuracy, but they're also the furthest range as well. They're also 5-man squads, so they're not easily to die. And yeah, got them as well, but I did end up getting them in the Huey, which goes against every philosophy of my well-being, but I wanted to keep the points down. Whereas the S70, for the price range, I just don't really like the gun. I like, if I'm going to get an M60, 15 points is my limit. So I just got to make sure I definitely don't lose these RBS 70s. Also, quick note, every single infantry unit is in a helicopter because there's no land-based APC that could bring in the infantry. And that is generally true for most airborne decks. The US and the Soviet Union are oddities when they have their own land-based troops that they can bring stuff in, but most stuff just brings in with helicopters. But that allows you to be fluid and flexible. It also means you need to drop off your helicopters a bit far back from the front line, and forces are going to have to walk to the front line. And the good news is that all of these infantry are pretty darn fast. They're 30 kilometers, 25 kilometers, 25. Eric's is at 20. The slowest are the RBS at 15 kilometers. So they can relatively get to the front lines after you drop them off pretty well. All right, we're going to go to the support tab. As you can see, I've got nothing in the support tab because the Commonwealth don't have airborne support. So we're moving on, and I actually got a tank. This was actually an afterthought. And it's the Scorpion 90, but it's only because I had leftover points and I wanted to get that taken care of. Now, the Scorpion light tank is the same, both British and the Anzac version, but the reason why I got the 90 variant is because it's got 55% accuracy for 30 points, and it's got 3 HE power. It's got a slow round per minute, but it can provide some support fire. It's also kinetic, so it does increase the AP, so it can take out light APC vehicles as well. The main purpose of this is going to be support, and I did get these hardened, the max vetted up level, because I'm not going to bring too many of these things. They're just going to be for some really cheap fire support. Recon. I definitely looked into this. Took a while to decide in the last video. I got the Special Boat Squad in the last Lynx AH7. Wanted to get those rocket pods again, and the Special Boat Squad is an excellent infantry killer with their 40% accuracy and stabilizer main gun, 533 rounds per minute. They've also got the Carl Gustav, which is a good anti-tank rocket launcher, and they've got the Bren, which actually is a very good close quarters machine gun, especially when they use it. And so yeah, these guys actually would probably go hand in hand with the Legion 90s and assaulting with their stabilizer, but they can also stand side by side with the paratroopers with the accurate Bren L4. I've also gotten some Resi, which exceptional stealth. Definitely want to get these guys, and not only that, not only are they a sniper squad, but also they've got AP power with kinetic rounds, so they can actually start sniping vehicles. So that is pretty advantageous. Especially if the vehicle has no recon around. Vehicles generally have poor optics, so these guys can see the vehicle. The vehicle can't see them to fire back. I got them in the helicopter because with that, or the truck, and with sniper squads, I definitely want to get behind enemy lines, drop them off into like a forested area, like a clearing, then have them walk through the forest so they'd be able to spot. So, and that could be hampered if there is rivers. So I definitely got the helicopter so I could fly over said terrain problems, whereas the M35 would suffer in that situation. I got some green jackets as well. These are going to be our cheaper recon. They are also fairly decent in a fight, especially since they do their job where they're standing still to spot in an area. With the 60% accuracy gun, even if it has low rate of fire, its chances are it's probably going to hit more often. And especially backed up with the L7A1. The log's kind of let down, but that's not what these purpose are for. We have plenty of AP power rocket launchers in the future. So, yeah, I got the green jackets here. I also got them in the Spartan, which also is a recon vehicle. So double the recon power. I got the AS-350 for the helicopter. Now, it doesn't have a gun like the Bell or the CH-136, but the Bell and CH-136 have 4 strengths, and the AS-350 has 6 strengths, and as I said in the beginning, I don't like my helicopters dying in 1 missile hit. So, we got this guy in here. It's also a bit faster than these other helicopters, so definitely a worthwhile unit. Vehicles were a letdown. The best vehicle out of all of this was the Striker. And the Striker is kind of a poor man's choice. It's honestly not the best ATGM. It does have 22 AP power, but it suffers from the land-based problem of usually the thing you're trying to kill, if it is charging at you, that missile either hits or misses. And if it misses, then by the time he loads the next missile and fires, that thing that's charging at you is in range, fires, and you're dead. So, unfortunately, the Striker is not going to be in this as this deck. The TOW 2 has better accuracy and range, but it also has less health, and it also suffers the same problem that it better hit with that first missile, it better kill the thing with the first missile, or it's going to die. So I didn't get anything vehicles. Helicopters. These took a little bit of working around, but I managed to get something together. I have gotten the Lynx 3, and of course I got the Lynx 3 because it's got Hellfire missiles and Stinger. It's basically a anti-vehicle aircraft killer all in one package. Just don't lose it. Gotten some vetted up Lynx AH-7 20mm because those 20mm guns with kinetic rounds definitely can chew up infantry and vehicles. When they get close enough. You're probably going to lose these helicopters, but they can still do a bit of damage if ignored. The enemy can't ignore them. I also got some TOW 2s as a backup ATGM weapon. So we don't have any. This is compensating for our lack of infantry long-range ATGMs, but we still have the Eric's missile, so they still have a bit of reach with the infantry tab. Lynx TOW 2s, since I got 2 of them. I got them bedded up, so those TOW 2s will most likely hit. I got some Bush Rangers as well. These are a funny helicopter. Basically, the miniguns, the 20 miniguns, are very good at just chewing up any infantry. And these rocket pods are actually AP, so they're actually designed to take out light APC vehicles or pepper a tank and do pretty heavily damage to them. So got some of those Bush Rangers there. I also got some gunships, which just have regular rocket pods like the Lynx AH-7. Though if we check the Lynx AH-7, I actually has the same HE power. Hang on. I'm going to should have done this in the last one. Let's see here. So the gunship has less rockets, but it's got a better stabilizer than the Lynx AH-7. So okay. Alright, so yeah, if I don't want to bring in any infantry, I can just bring in a gunship to lay a few rockets on some infantry there. Okay, good. So we got that. Aircraft. Now, I definitely took a while because this is the big part of the deck, and it took a while to figure out everything, but I think I've got everything uh, underfoot. I got two cards of Eurofighter Typhoons at trained. Uh, yes, I could have gotten them at one at Elite, but I think you can get one at Elite in the regular deck, and I took advantage of the experience gain to get two at Trained. So the missiles do have a better chance of hitting. They're also a really good fighter, 50% ECM, exceptional air detection, very fast, sharp turn radius, 4 AMRAAM missiles, 4 AIM missiles. This is just a fighter killer, air superiority fighter, and I've gotten 4 of them in this deck. And to top that all off, I've gotten them some backup in some Tornado F3s, which if we compare the two together, the Tornado F3, phenomenal aircraft. It's gotten 4 really even longer range missiles by the fact that it's 6 HE power. They're a little less accurate, but that is fine because if they are definitely going to get those missiles off first. They also can get in close range as well with their AIM 9L, exceptional air detection, 40% ECM. These are definitely going to be able to back up those Eurofighter Typhoons. And then got the Tornado GR1s, and the reason why I got Cluster is that these is a unique cluster, is that it has 8 AP power. Now most Cluster actually has 6 AP power when it's on planes. If you look through the game, most of those planes are just 6 AP power. There's a few oddities here and there. But this has 8 AP power. That can kill heavy tanks. So we're talking T-80s and I think even T-72s. I've forgotten which one has the higher top armor. I think the T-72 has a higher top armor than the T-80, but that's just off the top of my head. I want to verify that. But this thing can definitely kill heavy-duty tanks, so definitely want that. I've gotten the F111C. This is a very good bomber for 1,000 kilogram bombs. Need I say more? I remember back in the days, this used to have 8 1,000 kilogram bombs. I remember to be able to just walk an entire line of nothing but 1,000 kilogram bombs and basically destroy everything inside it. These things were awesome. Then got some napalm bombers. They don't have any ECM, so I do need to be a bit careful. But they do have 6 napalm, so that is an entire infantry area denial service payload. I've gotten some Harrier GR7s. I got these over the GR5s because we already have the F11C with the 1,000 kilogram bombs. We don't need 500 kilogram bombs. So I decided to get the Paveways. The Paveways used to be Britain's anti-tank killer because all 4 of those bombs that land on a tank at the same time would destroy the tank. Now there is some deviation, so they're not able to do that anymore, but they're still pretty powerful bombs. And if you are quick enough and able to micro-click on a fire position and able to keep doing 2 areas, you can actually split up these paveway bombs to land in multiple areas in one passing run. It's a little tricky to do, but if you can do it, this thing is king. And then also have some Sea Harriers. Very good seed. They've got 70% accuracy, 22 AP power for these alarm missiles. 40% ECM, so they're very good at not dying. And they've even got a couple of AIM 9L, so they can just pot shot anything that's in the skies. And then I got the Kahu. Kahu is definitely a very strong tank killer with 30 AP power. Like, holy crap, these things can kill anything they want that gets into their way. So, best anti-tank in the game, or one of the best anti-tank variants, at least in power in the game. So we definitely needed to get that. And of course, Navy, I just got the standard Tomcat, Super Hornet, F111Gs, Tyrann Intruder, and Etendard. Since this is an all-airborne deck, this really comes at no surprise. So that is the Commonwealth Airborne Joint Task Force group. We are going to be playing this in the next video. I do want to thank you all so much for watching. Please do like, comment, and subscribe down below if you enjoyed this. And post comments on any decks that you guys want me to do in the future. I'll definitely be getting around to doing that. I do have fun making these decks, and I definitely have fun making them for you guys. I just wish I was better at making videos and don't screw up half of them that I make. But thank you all so much, and I'll see you all in the next one.